Welcome to Goddesses. I'm your host, Blair Minerva. Today on Goddesses, imagine a world where a privileged upbringing clashes with a burning desire to heal. But what happens when that calling leads you into the heart of a war zone, battling not just disease, but a system determined to silence you? Today, witness how one woman's unwavering conviction transformed a broken world, but at a devastating personal cost you won't believe. In a dimly lit room in Victorian London, an elderly woman's gnarled hands methodically fold linens. The flickering lamplight casts long shadows across her bed, where she has spent decades confined. Yet from this prison of flesh, Florence Nightingale's mind remains razor-sharp, her influence reaching far beyond these walls. You might wonder, how did this woman, born to privilege and comfort, become both a revolutionary saint and a controversial figure who transformed modern healthcare through sheer force of will? The year is 1820, and into a world of strict hierarchies and limited female autonomy, Florence Nightingale arrives with an inexplicable fire in her soul. You know that feeling? The persistent whisper that you're meant for something more. For Florence, it manifests as a divine calling at age 16, a moment that shatters her predetermined path of marriage and social gatherings. But purpose comes with a price. Her family reacts with horror at her desire to become a nurse. In Victorian England, nursing is considered barely above prostitution, a profession for the desperate and destitute, not for a wealthy young woman of social standing. You felt it too, haven't you? That crushing weight of others' expectations colliding with your deepest convictions. Florence isn't like other young ladies of her class. While they perfect their needlework and practice piano, she studies mathematics and statistics with an almost obsessive intensity. Her mind craves order, efficiency, and most importantly, purpose. These very traits that make her odd in society's eyes will become her greatest weapons in the battle ahead. Think about your own oddities, those characteristics others might criticize or misunderstand. Like Florence, they might be precisely what the world needs. When the Crimean War erupts in 1854, reports of horrific conditions in military hospitals reach London. The mortality rate for injured soldiers exceeds 40%. Disease kills more men than bullets. Florence sees her chance and seizes it, volunteering to lead a team of nurses to Turkey's Scutari Hospital. What she finds there defies description. Imagine walking into your worst nightmare, hundreds of wounded soldiers lying in their own filth on bare floors. The stench of gangrene and unwashed bodies fills the air. Rats scurry openly among the dying. Basic supplies like bandages and soap are nowhere to be found. This is not just a hospital. It's a gateway to hell. But where others see hopelessness, Florence sees patterns. Her mathematical mind begins collecting data, meticulously documenting every death, every infection, every preventable tragedy. You recognize this moment, don't you? When overwhelming chaos suddenly crystallizes into clear action. She implements what we now consider basic hygiene practices: hand washing, clean linens, proper ventilation. She establishes a kitchen to provide nutritious meals. Each night she walks the wards with her lamp, checking on patients, offering comfort. The soldiers begin calling her the lady with the lamp, but she's not just bringing light, she's bringing revolution. Yet for every step forward, Florence faces fierce resistance. Military doctors resent taking orders from a woman. Officials block her requests for supplies. The male medical establishment dismisses her evidence-based approaches as feminine sentiment. But Florence has a secret weapon: data. She develops innovative statistical visualizations, including her groundbreaking polar area diagram, to demonstrate that poor sanitation kills far more soldiers than combat. These aren't just numbers. They're ammunition in her war against ignorance and indifference. If you're enjoying Goddesses, please subscribe, and scan the QR code for our free 7-day email course, Be an unstoppable woman. Lead without apology using quiet power tactics from influential females like Oprah, Malala, and RBG. Now, back to the episode. Her methods work. Within months, the death rate plummets from 42% to just 2%. Soldiers who once faced near-certain death now have hope of survival. Florence's reputation soars, and she becomes a national hero. But heroes often pay a devastating personal price. The relentless work, sleepless nights, and constant battles with bureaucracy take their toll. Florence contracts Crimean fever, a chronic illness that will plague her for the rest of her life. Upon returning to England, she becomes largely bedridden, confined to her room. You might think this would end her crusade. You'd be wrong. From her sickbed, Florence wages an even more ambitious campaign. She writes extensively, publishing Notes on Nursing, which becomes the cornerstone of modern nursing education. She corresponds with leaders worldwide, advising on hospital design and public health reforms. Her influence reaches India, where her recommendations save countless lives through improved sanitation practices. Think about this. Her greatest impact comes not from physical action, but from the power of her ideas and the strength of her conviction. Sometimes, your perceived limitations can become the very catalyst for your most significant contributions. Florence's methods transform nursing from a despised occupation into a respected profession. She establishes the first professional nursing school at St. Thomas Hospital in London, creating standards that shape healthcare worldwide. Her emphasis on sanitation, patient care, and evidence-based practice becomes the foundation of modern healthcare. But perhaps her most profound legacy is less tangible. It's in the way she challenged society's limitations, using data to combat prejudice and ignorance. It's in how she transformed personal suffering into systemic change. Now, as you consider Florence Nightingale's story, ask yourself, what darkness needs your light? What systems need your challenge? What data needs your voice? You may not reform healthcare or revolutionize a profession, but like Florence, you possess unique traits, perhaps even those others consider odd or inappropriate. That might be exactly what's needed to create meaningful change. Remember, Florence didn't set out to become an icon. She simply refused to accept preventable suffering when she had the power to address it. Her lamp wasn't just for illuminating dark hospital wards. It was a beacon of hope, a symbol of one person's refusal to accept the status quo. Your challenge isn't to become the next Florence Nightingale. It's to recognize that the very qualities that make you different, your obsessions, your unconventional thinking, your stubborn refusal to accept that's just how things are, might be precisely what the world needs. What will you illuminate with your light? As Florence's lamp still guides us through the darkness of human suffering, her voice whispers across time. Don't wait for permission to make a difference. Use your unique perspective, your data, your conviction to challenge the systems that perpetuate preventable pain. The world doesn't need another Florence Nightingale. It needs you, with your own lamp, illuminating your own path toward positive change. What darkness will you light up first? On the next episode of Goddesses, imagine a world where Florence Nightingale's revolution in nursing still leaves vast inequalities untouched. After witnessing how one woman defied norms, what if we told you there's another who fought just as fiercely against similar odds? You won't believe what happens when Elizabeth challenges yet another bastion of power, proving that every spark of defiance can light a new path to justice in the world of exceptional healers. Please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code, or follow the pinned link to get our free 7-day email course, Be an Unstoppable Woman. 7 days, 7 iconic women. Master the art of quiet power, lead without apology, and turn femininity into your greatest weapon. Click the video that just popped up to watch the next one in this series. Or for episode summaries, behind-the-scenes info, and more, go to daily8.com/god. Thanks for watching.